Hey there, this is Christine. Thanks for tuning into my Mostly Keto Kitchen. What I'd like to talk about today is whether fruit is indeed healthy or not. And why I want to do this is because I would like you to know the facts. And this is not a real black and white area. This isn't, I think there's some nuance to it. And I think what's hard about it is that we categorize fruits and vegetables together. And so we say, okay, the healthy stuff are the fruits and vegetables. Well, okay, so let's actually tease apart the fruit part and the vegetable part and think about what's really going on there. Now, I only bring this up because I know that there are people out there who need to pay attention to fruit because they're on the track of having metabolic syndrome. And if they would really like to be their best selves and be as healthy as possible and have as long of a health span as possible, so meaning the healthiest, longest life as possible, then this is the kind of stuff they're going to want to think about. But I know there's a lot of people that for whom it's not really relevant. They're not unhealthy. Remember, here are some of the hallmarks of metabolic syndrome, and that is a lot of belly fat, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, or maybe somebody who's got fatty liver or somebody who's pre-diabetic or diabetic. That's who I'm talking to here. If you've got any of these things, or you're just trying to eke out a little bit more health in your life, then this stuff is going to be relevant to you. So let's get into the meat of it here, and actually the fruit of it. I've got fruit into three categories here. We've got apple and banana up here, and then we've got some dried fruits, figs and raisins, and then I've got juices down below. And so let's look at each of these individually. Now, so each of them has a fair amount of sugar, right? So we've got 20 grams of sugar here, 20, 25, 21, 24. The banana was a little bit lower at 14 grams, but I think it's not a super big banana was from the information that I got. But let's just do a little reminder, and that is that if you've got 20 grams of sugar, you're going to take that number and divide it by 4, and that's going to tell you how many teaspoons of sugar it is. And it's a lot easier for us to visualize that 5 teaspoons of sugar. So fruit definitely has a lot of sugar. All of these have approximately 5 teaspoons of sugar. That seems like a lot, if you were just to go and grab a teaspoon and kind of eat 5 teaspoons of sugar. But sugar dissolves in water really easily, and so of course in a fruit like in an apple, it's just delicious. But that's what makes it so delicious, is that there's a lot of sugar in there. Let's also look at the amounts that I've written here in white. 182 gram apple. So that's a medium-sized apple, and that's a good amount of food. But this is just going to keep getting to be less and less as we go down. 118 grams for the banana, so a little bit on the small side. Notice that the dried fruit here, you're having not a lot, 40 grams, 43 grams, and that can lead to overeating. If you think about apricots, if you had fresh apricots, how many would you eat? Maybe 2 or something right there, a few halves. But if you were to have dried apricots, at least for me, I could say, I could probably eat 10 of those. So that would be the equivalent of eating, it's just a lot. It's a lot of apricot, and you're getting a lot more sugar. So even this is sort of a small box of raisins right here. That's 25 grams of sugar, so you're even above that 20 gram mark. So this is getting to be quite a bit of sugar just in a little box of raisins. And then when we pop down here to the juices, these guys also have a fair amount of sugar in them. But let's think about what a cup is, right? This is a 1 cup measurement. How many of us just have 1 cup of orange juice? I think back in the 50s, maybe they did that with a nice little juice glass. But nowadays, we're more likely to have a pint, 16 ounces of orange juice. And that's going to be twice this amount. So now you're up into the 40s in terms of the amount of sugar. And that's getting to be a lot of sugar. So also written up here are the grams of fiber. And what you'll see is that the grams of fiber, those things decrease as we go down. So the whole fruit is going to have quite a bit of fiber in it, the dried fruit less, and then the juice hardly any. And then also what happens, the whole fruit, you're going to have a lot of vitamins in that, but there's actually fewer vitamins when you get to the dried fruits. There's just probably some of them just break down during the drying process. You do get a fair number of vitamins with the juice, but you get very little fiber. So those are just some of those differences between the whole fruit, dried fruit, and the juice. Definitely the way to go is the whole fruit. Now, one thing I would like to point out, though, is that it is important that at least I think it's important, that kids eat the apple peel. I know a lot of kids are refusing to eat the apple peel, and that's too bad because that's where a lot of the vitamins are. Fiber is in the apple peel, and also I think it's good for their teeth, like biting into something. Teaching our kids how to actually use their teeth and bite into stuff is good, and it helps strengthen the mouth. It strengthens the gums and the teeth. And so anyway, if you can get your kid to eat the apple peel raw, I think that's really awesome. Okay, so anyway, hopefully this is meaningful to you, and it's this idea that I think education is power. So if you know the differences between whole fruit, dried fruit, juices, you can be better informed. You can make better decisions for yourself and for your family. And and it's not about saying that sugar's bad, but it's just saying, hey, do you know how much sugar you're eating? And do you fall into one of these categories? Because if this stuff is happening to you, you might want to think, wow, well, maybe that's a change that I can make in my life, and I could be eating less sugar, and then that would be healthier for you. One last little comment that I'd like to make is that it's pretty amazing. Once you start getting off of the amount of sucrose that's in things, like let's say, you're used to eating candies or cookies or pies or cakes, if you get off of that stuff, man, a piece of fruit tastes amazing. Like that's nature's dessert for us. And not only is it super delicious, but it is healthy for us too. So, thanks for watching.